Recording in progress.
Yeah. Okay, everyone, good evening. Today is Tuesday, October 18, 2022, and we are here for a regularly scheduled town board meeting in conjunction with a CDA meeting. As always, we're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Tim, can you please take the lead?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tim. And Frank, do we have someone from our faith community with us today?
I believe so, yes. In keeping with our tradition of having a faith-based invocation, we should have Reverend Janet Wright, Interfaith Minister, with us tonight. Welcome.
Welcome, Reverend. Is she with us in present, or is she with us through Zoom?
She's probably on Zoom, which they're having a problem.
Can you see if she's with Zoom? If not, okay, so do we have someone who wants to say a prayer for our meeting? That's praise our meeting. Come on, somebody for the community. Somebody want to wish us well and safe? You're all too scared, huh? So can we have a board member? Ken?
Ken will.
Ken, go ahead. Volunteer.
I did.
Yep.
Dear Lord, please watch over us this evening and make us see a nice, clear path for future and success in all the things that we do. And we pray for health, and we pray for guidance throughout the winter months ahead of us. And we pray for all our volunteers in our community that protect us and watch over us every day. And we work under your name today. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Before we move forward with our regular agenda, I'm going to hit the pause button, and we're going to take some time to recognize two exceptional employees who have gone above and beyond their responsibilities of employment here in our town. They were nominated by fellow employees who were selected by the Labor Management Committee employees, and they are the employee of the second quarter and the third quarter. First, I'll ask Jessa Ugill, tax cashier for the Tax Receivers Department, to please come forward, while Lori Sineski, receiver of the taxes, make a few words on her behalf. Lori?
It was actually myself and my deputy Lisa that nominated Jessa for Employee of the Quarter. She has just gone above and beyond. She started right before COVID, and we were jumbled all around town hall, and then we had to go to the recreation department, and she showed up every day and with a smile on her face and patient. And we actually goof in our office that she's just so patient and so kind, and anytime there's a problem, she just works through everything. She has 3 children that are here in the audience with her today. Jacob was over there, Juliana and Jackson, her husband Jeff, and we are just so fortunate and blessed. I mean, every day it's a pleasure to come to work when we have someone like her there for us, and we're just grateful to have you.
Okay. So I'm going to ask our town board meeting board members to come forward to present a certificate of appreciation or recognition. Lori?
Oh, me too.
Of course.
And Lisa.
We can do it together. Where's Lori? You can hold it also, and that's for you. And we'll do one stick picture. Want to show the camera? Okay. Thank you for everything you do. And next, I'm going to ask Brian Lennon, custodial worker in the engineering department, to please.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. And I'm gonna also ask our engineer, Drew Dillingham, to make a few comments on his behalf. Okay, the floor is yours, Drew.
Thank you. We hired Brian a year ago, November, and within the first 3 months, we had pretty much cut him loose. He's the first one at work.
Good way, I was gonna say, usually that's termination. That's the
first-
engineering part.
He's the first one at work, he's the last one at work. In almost a year, I've gotten no complaints. His direct supervisor, Dave Zabrowski, has gotten no complaints, nothing but kudos and accolades. He's responsible, he's responsive, he gets the job done, he goes way above and beyond. One day I came out of my office and he was actually cleaning a wall outside of my office that hadn't been cleaned in 15 years. So that's just a little inkling of what Brian is to us, and we're very, very fortunate to have him.
And Brian, I want to add that although we don't often cross paths, I've known you for many years, and I can say with certainty that the day you started working for the town of Riverhead was a very, very, very lucky day for our town. You are an exemplary employee and a cherished member of our team, and we thank you for all your commitment to your job and always going above and beyond. I'll ask my fellow board members to join me in presenting Brian Lennon with this certificate of appreciation. You have to be in this. You don't have to, but if you can get on this side. See if you can come on this side. No. So you want to go on that side? So you can just.
Brian, you want to sit up?
Sure, come on up. Okay, you wanna come up? Yeah, come on up.
And hold it. Here's his boss. You got it?
Hey, let's
Present
get
it.
your collar all fixed
Got
up
it?
so you beat the
It
paper.
says that.
Looking good, there you go.
Oh,
All right,
come on in.
Boy Scout.
Come on in.
Right there, next to the town center.
Okay, great.
All right.
Congratulations, Jessa and Brian.
We enjoy your adventures on Facebook.
Yeah, so, I'm gonna do announcement, that's one, and then after that. Okay, I have, one announcement today regarding Halloween Fest taking place this Saturday, October 22nd. All are invited, it's a free event. We're gonna have the downtown Riverhead coffin racing, we're gonna have trick or treat, we're gonna have a DJ, at the town square, jack-o'-lantern contest at the East End Arts, we're gonna have a parade down Main Street at 7 o'clock, and all the details can be found on the bid or the, chamber. It has a breakdown, the event started at 3 o'clock. And I believe you said you had an announcement, Bob?
Yes, I just want to thank everyone who came out and volunteered on Saturday with the litter committee. We had 70 people. Today we had an additional, I'm not sure how many people from the 4-H to clean up Riverhead. To me, it's a great thing, but it's also sad. It's sad that people are throwing garbage out their window in our town. And, you know, we're just trying to keep it really clean. So that committee is voracious in cleaning up the town of Riverhead, so I want to thank them.
Yes, and we've seen some improvements also, and people keep on returning, so thank you for all the volunteers. Okay, can I have a first and a second to close the town board meeting and open the community development meeting? And I'm gonna ask Diane, can you please call the vote to open up the community development meeting? First and a
So
second.
moved.
First and a second, right?
Second.
Okay, second.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayron.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
The Tambo meeting is closed and the CDA meeting is now open.
Okay, so I'm gonna invite Dawn Thomas, our CDA director. She's gonna come forward and direct her meeting, and good evening, Dawn.
Good evening, Madam Supervisor, members of the agency. We have nothing on the agenda other than the approval of two sets of minutes. One is a special meeting of September 13th, 2022 at 10 a.m. The other is a regular meeting of September 20th at 2022 at 6 p.m. So I guess we could take comments on those, or?
Yes, any comments from the audience, or Chip, is there anyone online? Not for the CDA.
Okay, so we can call those, so do you want to call them as one, approve the minutes of, I could make one resolution out of the two?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Very good, we'll make it quick. So we need a motion to approve the minutes of the CDA special meeting on September 13th, 2022 at 10 a.m., as well as the CDA regular meeting of September 20th, 2022 at 6 p.m.
Can I have a first, second, a second? First and a second?
Yeah, just-
Okay.
Got it, okay. Kern,
Well, I know, she needs to document first and a second.
Who's the second?
She needs to document who,
Okay, thank you.
who,
Sorry.
yeah, okay.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Kern,
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrod.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Okay, those minutes are adopted, and now we will move to open comments on CDA matters in general.
Okay, any CDA matters, please come forward.
Good evening, Mike Foley, Reeves Park. Speaking in regards to this on behalf of the RNPC, I'd like to know what the status is of the contract between the CDA and 555 with the IDA. Where do we stand on that? There have been rumors, there have been contradictory statements on where it stands right now. So I'd like to know exactly where are we?
All right, Dawn, did you want to answer that, because that's CDA property?
The joint application of the community I'm sorry? Oh, sorry. The joint application of the Community Development Agency and CAT was accepted by the IDA, and it's being processed by the IDA. I haven't heard any contrary news reports or any information. I'm just wondering if, is there other information that you had heard?
I'm hearing comments that are contradictory in regards to the progress or lack thereof of this contract. So I guess the thing we're most interested in is getting this to a Q&A, so that the public can weigh in on the merits or demerits of keeping 555 involved in this. Also, we know that there was a bargain basement price that was paid by 555 as a result of lousy bargaining between Illuminati and a prior supervisor. The value of this property right now is approximately $140 million. We're looking for $40 million. As far as I'm concerned, if the IDA gives them 1 penny in consideration, after the $100 million in bargain basement discounts, the IDA is conducting malpractice. There shouldn't be a dime in consideration. And the town looks very forward to sitting here when the IDA is talking about their qualifications. Because as far as we're concerned, and I'm not on EPCAL watch, Yvette. I'm not on EPCAL watch. I'm just a guy that has been watching this from afar. And I am gaping aghast at the fact that we are still in the process here of possibly giving this property away for $40 million. The one thing I do take comfort in is that the contract that you guys entered into has a very clear black and white escape clause that says if they don't meet this condition, we can break that contract and they have no recourse. We look forward to getting to that stage so that an informed opinion can be made in the public eye. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your comment.
You're welcome.
Anyone else want to come forward?
Hello, good evening. Sid Bale, Wading River Civic
evening.
Association. I watched the tape of the IDA presentation by Kat, and wow, I thought I was seeing a promo for an air cargo port. And, but according to Kat's attorney, Chris Kent, I've known for a long time, he said, no, that is never in the works, et cetera. So, you know, after 30 years, and it was 30 years ago that the FAA, there was a study done. I was on that committee, the cargo study thing. I think I was about 11 years old at the time, you know. But, you know, I've got a couple of members of my civic who are on the, that study. But I was, in a way, pleased to hear Chris Kent say that, but I was thinking about the rules and regulations that determine the use of the airfield, and, which I think were adopted in 2007, 2008, somewhere around there. And I think one of the things that would be a positive step, no matter what happens, is if it was made clear in the rules and regulations, the way it was made clear about no passenger service at the EPCAL airfield, that there would be a ban on air cargo uses at the facility. And I'm sure Chris and the folks at CAT would readily agree to this. But they said they would, all right? And I think it makes sense, unless the town board has already made up their mind that it's going to be a cargo port. I don't think that's the case. So I would like to see that come about, and I think it would be a positive step. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sid. Anyone else want to come? Oh, Mr. McCall, if it wouldn't be a meeting if you weren't here.
Yeah, well, between the two of us, you know, Reeves Park and Rolling Woods are just next to each
civic
other.
groups,
There
yeah.
must be something in the water.
Must be.
And we have town water, at least our house does, some do. I'm John McAuliffe from Rolling Woods. Again, none of this is planned, it's coincidental, people have a concern. And I want to tackle it in a slightly different way and ask for some clarification. There is a business term, I think, called bait and switch. And one begins to feel, when you look at the history, first of Luminati and then of the Germasians, that the Germasians, as with Daniel Preston, are involved in a bait and switch operation, only at a much more sophisticated, much more high-budget version. Otherwise, we're led into a kind of Washington-like confusion about what is truth. I don't know if you've now gone back and watched the IDA meeting. I encourage everybody in town to watch it, because either the representatives of 555 were not telling the truth to try to convince the IDA that this was a great business opportunity, or the attorney for CAT was not telling the truth when he said afterwards, or CAT itself was not telling the truth when it said afterwards, oh no, we're not going to do a cargo hub. Their beautiful pictures are unmistakably a cargo hub. On one side of these big warehouse buildings, or the first one and then presumably the others, are expanded runway facilities and big cargo planes. They're not just sitting there for display. They will have flown in and they will fly out, and everybody in Riverhead will be aware of when they're flying in and flying out. I mean, that is that's what is in their material. That's what their representatives said, that they're market-driven, and the market is for a hub, whether you call it an air cargo port or something else. It's clear that what they want to do is to create a facility. On one side, there will be cargo planes, on the other side, there will be tractor trailers. The cargo planes will be bad enough, the tractor trailers will be also a terrible experience, not just for Calverton, but for everybody in this area. So I think you need to clarify, what is it that's actually being planned? I mean, where is the truth? If at one time they're saying it's the stream of a Silicon Valley of the East, that's what I say, bait and switch. Or if in reality, what they are trying to maneuver us into with as much town money as they can manage, they're trying to maneuver us into a distribution port, which will have consequences for everybody in town and in the surrounding towns. So I don't know, can you clarify what exactly?
There'll be a public hearing, and that's turned over to the IDA. They're an independent agency, and you making comments here, we hear your comments, and it's going to go through a process, and a lot of your concerns will be addressed, including our concerns. So thank you for your comments, Mr. McCullough. Hi, how are you? Good evening.
Thank you. Phil Barbado, Jamesport,
I know who you are.
co-founder of Riverhead Neighborhood Preservation Coalition. When it comes to, from the standpoint of the average citizen in the town of Riverhead, I'm just wondering if anyone on the town board can explain to us what is being proposed by CAT. You don't have to do it right now, but I hope at some point
It will.
someone can explain. It seems like it's a changing, shifting, never-ending modification from the original proposal that was made and approved by the town board and is part of the contract that we have with them. The second point is, as was eloquently described by Mr. McAuliffe, we've already given this property away for $40 million. We don't need to give them any more tax incentives. They've already gotten a $100 million tax incentive by buying this thing for such a cheap price. That was, by the way, backroom deal, non-negotiable, not even public. So we don't need to.
2018.
Sorry?
In 2018,
Yes,
2 administrations ago,
yes.
a contract signed by attorneys, which can be viewed by the court, but just want to let the public understand what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I was not saying that this board was involved in the original contract, but you certainly are involved in it now, up to your eyeballs, and we need to do the right thing. And then, you know, especially from the average taxpayer, if we give them an incentive, that's going to cost us all money too. So it doesn't come from nowhere. And finally, just on the warehouse issue, I've seen numbers something like in excess of 10 million square feet of warehouse space that's being proposed right now in front of the town in the Calverton area alone. And we would like to request that until the comp plan update is completed, that the town board impose a moratorium on any warehouse approvals in the Calverton area. And also start a generic environmental impact statement, because looking at these projects one at a time doesn't give us the full impact of all of them put together. And that's what's required by SECR law, by the way. So let's do it. Thank you very much.
Okay, I just want to add, Mr. Barbado, we are in the process of completing a comprehensive plan. If somebody purchases a piece of property or is in contract, and it is the code, the current code, we can't just say, we decided as a town board that we're going to stop your project after we took your application, and you have every right. That's called an Article 78. And most of the time, and the courts rule in the favor of the property owners, saying that government does not regulate people. There isn't a code that says we can't have. When the comprehensive plan was created in 2003, it stated that industrial goes there, so it's zoned for it. So we're in that mist, And again, the planning board has to interpret the law, okay? The planning board is an independent, it's a big project, and they have to do their fiduciary responsibilities to say, does it apply to the code, doesn't it? And that is before the planning board, and you might want to attend one of the meetings, and they do have public sessions on this for the public to respond, and you can bring that point forward. Thank you for your
Well,
comments.
I'm not an attorney, I'm an engineer.
Neither am I, but I know the law on this.
The way I understand it is, you don't have a vested right until you get approval for your application to do something at your property. So there's no basis for
That the
Article
law
78
dictates,
against the
That the
town.
code dictates. You buy a
Yeah,
piece of land.
buying it doesn't give you a vested right, that's
No.
my opinion.
Right, and then you go through the process and check the legality of it and the development of it and make sure all the reviews are done and secret's done. Yes, there is a process, but you can't stop somebody initially from bringing in a project that we have no code against. Okay, so that's where we are, but that's a great question. The planning board will be more than happy to, and again, it's an independent party, and they have an attorney on the board, and their responsibility is to address these kinds of concerns.
Yeah, and as far as legality, it's also the town's legal responsibility to investigate the environmental impact of the
Absolutely.
projects. And that means that you need to do a generic EIS on this whole basis of multiple projects.
And that's in the town code, that anything that gets built has to have it, so you're right, and it will be done, so thank you for your
Thank you.
comments. Anyone else? Okay, seeing no one, we don't have anyone, Chip? Okay, so I think we're going to,
Just a quick note for folks at home, we're having an IT issue with the screen, but just a note, the feed on Channel 22 is working properly
and it's still working properly.
on the televisions for folks at home and also for the feed on the computers.
Okay.
The Zoom audio is working, it's just not the video that's working on our screen here. So
Okay.
folks at home should be able to see it, we just can't see it here.
That's
All
fine.
right?
Thank you for informing us, Devin. I appreciate it. All right, Dawn, did you want to close, have a first and a second to close your continue with the town board meeting? Yeah. Thank you.
So if we could have a motion and a second to close. Pardon? Okay,
First, she has to document a first and a second, so.
yeah, a
No,
motion
you said so moved. You
and
need-
a second to close the CDA meeting and open the town board
Can
meeting.
you do a second?
Second.
Yeah, she has to put it down. Okay.
Good?
Vote, please.
Okay, Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
The CDA meeting is closed and the town board meeting is open. Thank you.
Thank you, Dawn. Have a good evening. Moving forward, can I have a first and a second to approve the minutes from the regular town board meeting on September 20th, 2022?
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
The minutes of the September 20th meeting are approved.
And Diane, do we have any reports or correspondence to
Yes.
report, please?
Under correspondence, there was a letter from Larry Osmond, it's, mentioning his support of the CDA resolution for the qualified and eligible sponsor for RXR and GGB. Brian Carroll sent a letter regarding the proposed 2023 budget, and I had 13 letters in opposition to the EPCAL CAT Fargo Air Transit Hub. Under reports, the building department submitted their September monthly report, $125,640. Tax receivers submitted their September utility collection report for $440,729.92. Town clerk's September monthly report, $13,332.85. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Diane. Okay, we have 3 public hearings today. The first public hearing was scheduled for 6 PM. It is now, what time is it? 6:34. We're going to open up the public hearing regarding consideration of a proposed local law to override the tax levy limit. We have Bill Rother on phone, our financial administrator. He's joining us. Is he on Zoom? Okay, great, that's even better. And Bill, thank you for being with us. I know that you're not feeling well, and I appreciate you taking this effort to be here with us.
Good evening, Madam Supervisor and Town Board members. Just like to start by mentioning that the Supervisor and the Town Board actually decreased the 2022 budget about 0.5% lower than the 2021 budget was. Unfortunately, with the rising costs of over the last 12 months or so being over 6.5%, with everything from gasoline to groceries and basically all consumables increasing, the 2023 tax levy is at 3.31%, or 1.31% above the tax cap. That increase above the tax cap will cost the average resident about $85.85 every year, or next year, I should say, 2023. Unfortunately, like I said, the cost is not just through the town of Riverhead. It's outside of our town, outside of our county, and outside of our state. And we're just being swept up by the economy outside of us, so.
All right, so, do we have any comments on this? Actually, South Pole also had to raise their tax cap. It is minimal, and I just want to say that every part of that raise is going to law enforcement. We are not adding to our department or replacing offices. They are at full capacity. We are enhancing our police department by 7 officers and 5 PSDs, which are police dispatches. There is a national crime wave due to many issues. One is financial, and another substantial is the defund the police, the cashier's bail, and we're all going through an increase in crime, and we're going to place, actually, myself and Councilman Hubbard, I'm going to be working to place these offices strategically to try to help lessen, and we're going to meet with the community. So this is an approach, and again, the excess of this tax cap is as a result of expanding the Riverhead Police Department. I believe it's been quite some time. The most they ever had was 2 officers hired in 10 years. So we're having 7, and we're at full capacity. Anyone want to make a comment on this this public hearing concerning the tax cap?
Madam Supervisor, before we go on, there is a de minimis change to the language. It's in the second paragraph of section 1, in the final sentence. The final sentence should read, while the town of Riverhead has made significant efforts to reduce spending in an effort to avoid piercing the tax levy limit, the current increase in costs and the potential continuing increase in costs to provide town services and fund town operations for 2023 will likely require adoption of a budget in excess of the tax levy limit. And I believe that change was emailed to all the town board members, and I have a couple extra copies available for.
Okay, when you say excess of the town, what was the last line on there, Eric?
It's all one sentence. So.
The ending, I got the first.
It says, the fund town operations for 2023 will likely require adoption of a budget in excess of the tax levy limit.
Okay.
So he's talking about
So
fuel
this
and
really
chemicals.
just goes to the legislative intent of the
Exactly,
proposed local.
right, okay, makes sense, I just want to confirm that. Yes, you have a comment?
Mike Foley, Reeves Park. Bill, I see you still on Zoom. How much of the Biden American Rescue Plan has been put into the town budget since its adoption in March of 2021?
We have not spent all of it. We have until the end of 2024 to spend it, but we have all 3,432,000 allocated. I'd have to get back to you on how much we have given so far and how much we have left to still spend. Some of it is allocated for next year's budget. There are some other community benefit funds that are allocated for 2023 budget also. but I can get back to you on that number.
No, Bill, that's a good enough number, thank you very much. So, $3.5 million from the Biden American Rescue Plan has come not only to supplement the budgets of the town of Riverhead, but every municipality and every state in this country. Billions of dollars have been given to municipalities and states to fund the gaps that were caused due to COVID-19. Billions of dollars went into police budgets, including the town of Riverhead's police budget. So I think it's important for people to understand that to separate the lies from the facts and the benefits that the American Rescue Plan provided, not just to the town of Riverhead, but to every single woman that was getting a $300 supplement as a result of the American Rescue Plan. The American Rescue Plan has been miscategorized by the cults out there, the QAnon wackos out there, and the Retrumplicans that believe in nothing but what that man says, that pathological lying hypocrite says. That's how much
Hold on a second, Mr. Foley. This is the public hearing.
That's correct.
Based on this.
That's
to
correct.
bring in a campaign.
That's correct.
And let's keep it to the public hearing.
Well, you know something, Yvette? You started by talking about defunding the police, which is a figment of the Trump's imagination. Nobody in the state of New York has defunded the police. It's something that is the mantra said by the people that want to fool the public. I'm here to say, defunding the police is nonsense. It's never been said. You know what has been said? Defunding the FBI. Who said that? Trump. So let's get back to your budget. Let's get back to your budget right now.
Just stay focused on the budget.
Well, yeah, I am focused on it.
Okay.
I am focused on it. So let me end with this. I think it's very responsible of you to look at a hole in the budget and to propose a tax increase. I commend you on that. There are people that like to gloss things over and try and figure out a way not to endure the public's ire by doing something that's unpopular. This tax increase was called for, and I congratulate you, and I totally support this tax increase. Thank you.
Okay. And I also want to mention concerning the tax cap, Riverhead, 59% of our taxes go to the Riverhead School District, and we only see $21 million. We do collect $100 million, $40 million goes to our services. Our budget is based on employee salaries, contracts for services, equipment, snow removal, and so, insurance, that's correct, thank you. And I also, want to make it a point, and Jay won't hold me to this, Jay Schneiderman from Southampton. Southampton gets $71 million to do their budget, and they have a lot more money than us. So I think we're doing really good, and, and there are other towns that have increased their, it's not a substantial amount. We are keeping it just on the purpose for a municipal budget is services to our customers. We're not adding in to all kinds of other services that are not needed. And we've kept all our services. In fact, we have, I think, increased some of our services. And anyone else want to make a comment in this regard? Do we have anyone? We're all good? Okay, so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna move forward. We're gonna close this public hearing, and it is 6:43. And we're gonna leave it open for public comments until 4:30 p.m., October 28th, 2022, at the town clerk's office. You got that, Diane? Let me know when you're ready.
I do, I'm ready.
Okay, so moving forward to our next public hearing, which is scheduled for 6:05. The time now is 6:44. And we're gonna open up a public hearing for the consideration of a local law to amend Chapter 301 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Zoning and Land Development, Cannabis. And I'm gonna ask our town attorney, Eric Howard, to please overview this with us.
All right, thank you,
Eric,
Madam.
please.
Thank you, Madam Supervisor. The New York State Marijuana Regulation and Taxation Act was passed in March of 2021, and it established the MRTA as an advisory board, Cannabis Council, that is going to be responsible for licensing, and it further authorized a sales tax on marijuana consumption and retail sales of 13%. 9% of that goes to the state, 1% goes to here, Suffolk County, and 3% will go to the town. Now, it gave municipal entities an option to opt in or opt out. In July of 2021, we put up a local law to opt out, which failed. That followed a survey that was conducted by the town. Subsequent to opting out, we established an advisory committee to come up with time, manner, place, and saturation restrictions for this use. That committee met 3 times. It met in December of 2021, February of 2022, and March of 2022. They identified zoning use districts in the town that would be appropriate for retail sales and on-site consumption uses. It's set forth in the proposed legislation that's going to be business center, shopping center, destination retail center, rural corridor, DC 1, 2, and 3, Hamlet Center, Village Center, Peconic River Corridor, and Business F. It further set forth setback restrictions of 1,000 feet from schools, libraries, and daycares, 500 feet from playgrounds, beaches, community centers, and other venues, businesses for children, 500 feet in a straight line from churches and houses of worship, 2,500 feet from any other retail or on-site consumption use, and it is prohibited within a mixed-use development, which is to say residential and commercial uses within the same building. It established times for retail and times for on-site consumption. The local law further puts forth certain requirements that you can't, if you're operating one of these businesses, you can't give away samples. That the uses cannot be in conjunction with food service or service of alcohol. That each proposed business use must have a security plan with cameras, alarm systems, and an odor management plan. And that is a general overview of what this proposed legislation addresses.
So I just would want to follow up with you, Eric, if I may. I was very impressed by the work of the Cannabis Committee. We were made up of members of different civics groups throughout the town. Riverhead School District participated, our CAP program participated, our police department. We had residents throughout the town from Wading River to Jamesport, and it was well balanced, and so that we made sure that there was a voice in every community throughout the town. I thought it was going to be a challenge in the very beginning because I think initially there was a perception that there was those that were for cannabis and those that were against it. But I think the work provided a great balance, and it allowed us to select places for retail consumptions and retail sales and consumption, should I say. It allowed for the consumers to be able to utilize it in a place, balanced throughout the town for purchasing it. But we also maintain a good protection, watching over the general public, mainly our youth and our park system, and special events throughout the town. So I really commend the work. Yes, we met 3 times, but I am certain that there were members on that committee that spent countless hours, and I got lots of emails and coordination and phone calls about concerns and balances. And I think that overall, this is a really balanced legislation that comes into place that protects the public, but also makes cannabis ready available through retail sales locations and consumption lounges. So I thank the committee for their work.
Yes, and when we voted this legislation in, I was opposed to it, and so were you, Councilman. And there were 3 members of the council who decided to go forward. Whether we agree or not agree, we have to work together. So I asked you, and I thank you for coming forward, even though you voted against it, to start a committee. And we needed to unite as a board because this was a state issue regulation that was coming to our town. Personally, as a law enforcement officer, and a person who a lot of times looks at infrastructures long-term. Maybe sometimes that's my problem. I didn't think that we had the infrastructure in place, we didn't have the laws in place, and we didn't have the setbacks. And just recently, I got a call from Southampton. They were concerned that the state was going to regulate the locations. And that's how we all voted. We've all voted on time, place, and management. And there's a possibility that we might not be able, and that's why we're rushing this legislation through to have it in place. I also had a conversation with the governor's office and the cannabis management agency, and they told us that they didn't have anything in place, that they were in the process of completing this. So I'm concerned, and we should all be, and that's why we're putting this forward, and hopefully what we're putting forward is gonna supersede, because there's some speculation that the state is gonna come down and tell us that we have to follow the alcohol, the ABC laws, setbacks, which are lot less restrictive than we have. And we need to have this is what the community wanted, and hopefully, they asked us for a copy of the map that we're gonna vote in today, and, they told us they're gonna get back to us. I told them who's ever creating those regulations need to have this. We have 36,000, people here, 3,000 took the survey, 1%, and a lot of them supported it. We're not Brookhaven, that has, almost 500,000 people. They're giving out 250 licenses. We don't want 100 of them here in Riverhead. We have 36,000. And so we put that seed into their mouth to limit, and we only have 2 locations here, which is gonna be Main Street and 58. Can't go really anywhere unless you wanna send it industrial. So that's what's there. I'm glad this legislation is in. Soon as it gets, voted in, if it gets voted in today, whenever it gets voted in, then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna send it up to the state, and hopefully they're gonna respect what our town, has created. To a certain extent, I don't think that anyone was fair to us, because what was told to us, you need to vote it in by December 31st, and you can pick the time, place, and manner. And right now, we are picking the time, place, and manner, and let's hope that the state supports our time, place, and manner. So, that being the case, anyone want to make a comment on this?
Mike Foley, Reese Park. Now you know I was sitting right there, so I could be first to the microphone on these kind of public hearings. I want to start off by saying there were about 5 towns in Long Island that had the courage and the vision and the foresight to allow this to happen. This did not happen easily. There was a tremendous amount of back and forth by the community and by the town board. And I want to thank Catherine Kent, and I want to thank Frank Bayrod, and I want to thank Tim Hubbard for giving this an opportunity to grow. Tim, I don't think during all of the public hearings and all the comments, it couldn't have been a better statement than saying in all the years you were in law enforcement, all the drunks you had to do battle with, there wasn't one pothead that ever gave you a hard time. And I think that summarizes the benefit of marijuana and the problems with alcohol. So the fact that we now are giving this a chance, we're giving it a chance because of the 3 council members I just mentioned. And I want to thank each and every one of you. Let's talk about the committee. Ken, when you were appointed to this committee, I was skeptical. You did a great job.
Thank you.
You opened this thing up to anybody that wanted to sit in that chair you listened to. And I'd like to think there was some shaping of the final product by the things that you heard. Certainly, this legislation is not perfect, but perfect should not be the enemy of the good. This is a good piece of legislation. And now I think some of the things that we have to do is to see how we can utilize this in the best interest of the town. And this might surprise you, I have some ideas on it.
Okay.
The 3% that we're talking about in revenue, I'm sure Bill Rother is off of the Zoom right now, and I don't need to I hope he listens to it. The uses really should be limited to three things. The security of the town, and by the security of the town, I mean that every parking lot within walking distance of downtown should have 24-hour video surveillance. You don't have to have somebody sitting at the cameras, but you do have to be able to go back to the videotape when there was a crime. So you can identify who it was, and you can go after it. I think the perception here, which came back to the pattern book, was the perception is that Riverhead is an unsafe town. We need to turn that around, because Riverhead is a safe town. There are problems, like there are everywhere. Lee Zeldin's neighborhood had a shooting on it within the last 2 weeks, so clearly there are problems with crime in this country and everywhere. But I think if we can direct the taxes, 3% that we're gonna get off the top of the money that's spent here, we can direct it to security. We can direct it to our education. I believe that the school district should be a palace, and the money that we can utilize outside of the classroom into extracurricular activities with the use of this marijuana tax can do tremendous beneficial things to our student body and the perception of the school system. And finally, rehabilitation, drug and alcohol rehabilitation. There has to be a portion of this component that goes into that. So I would propose, going forward, afterwards, that we take a hard look at this 3%. We put a hard cap on where it goes. It goes to those three things. 45% to securing our town, 45% to increasing the educational possibilities of our students, and 10% towards drug rehabilitation. I think if we do that within 5 years, all of our streets will have 24/7 surveillance. We'll have some signage up there, smile, you're on video camera, compliments of Riverhead Police, and I think it will turn around our town and make our town safer and a better place to live. One of the people that I think was most influential of this effort was Anne Marie Prudenti. Anne Marie, I have no idea how many hours she spent. I don't know if she's here. But I want to thank Anne Marie for supplying the people that were interested enough to sit in this room during all these things, all the data, kind of a summary of the 350 pages of New York stuff under the Cannabis Control Board. She probably gave us 40 pages of things that were pertinent specifically to our town, and I think she did a great job on it. I think the circling that we're talking about right now, certainly time, place, and manner is critical. We do have differences of opinion on things that can help this town. I do believe that it should be mainstreamed, but I also am sensitive to and understand the people that say, we don't want this anywhere near our kids or our kids' activities. I understand that. But what I don't understand going forward, after this legislation passes, and I do support the legislation, so I think we have to look at daycare restrictions. You show me what gang of toddlers and preschoolers get outside of a daycare center unsupervised. Doesn't happen. So I think that limitation, not now, because I do understand that if we tried to change this legislation, we'd have to take it off the table, we'd have to come back in here, and would have to go through this entire process again. And I agree with Yvette. The state is moving rapidly, and they're not going to give us a whole lot of notice when they drop the hammer on what the state rules are. But we have time, place, and manner options if it's in place before the state acts. So I think it's critically important that we pass this right away, and I certainly favor it. I hope everybody will understand that marijuana, now I'm a guy that's been drinking since I'm 16 and smoking weed since I'm 17. I'll be 70 years old in a couple of weeks. I guarantee you that the alcohol hurt me a lot more than the weed did. But I can also say that I'm glad that the reefer madness paranoia that was presented as an argument against legalizing in this town was overcome by the facts and science and medical things that were brought to bear during the conversation. And I'll end with this. The New York Times on Sunday had a 12-page article titled High Design, The Revolution Taking Over Cannabis Dispensaries. Sunday's New York Times, if anybody has it, to take a look at it. And it kind of says, as cannabis legalization has become more widespread, retailers are getting increasingly serious about the design and branding of their shops. You don't need signage outside that might create a distraction for kids under 21 to make the inside of it very attractive. There are places right now, and not here, more actually in Canada than in California, but there are places that you walk in, you look like you're going into a jungle, a boutique, a place that is just so inviting and so appealing that it draws people in. And I have to tell you, marijuana in 2021 was an $18 billion business. By 2024, they predict it to be a $30 billion business. If, as Riverhead, we could be the most attractive town in retail and cannabis cafes, we will get a larger majority of the money spent in our town than the other 4 towns that eventually will be competing with. One of the towns up west, I forget what it was, limited the sales and the cannabis cafes to an industrial area. Now you tell me, where would you prefer to pick up your weed or to have a smoke and an expensive donut? You want to go to an industrial area, or do you want to go to a nice place downtown within walking distance? I know there aren't many walking distance locations within the concentric circles that were agreed to and drawn up by Anne Marie with I'm sure, capable help of the town. But there are a few. And it's not just Main Street and Route 58, Yvette. They could put a dispensary in Wading River or in Jamesport that is within walking distance of their retail. I want to see these places where the accumulative effect is that more money is spent in the retail shops within walking distance of these places. Now, we're going to find out within 2 or 3 years where I'm right or I'm wrong. And the whole town at that point in time can change the legislation, better or worse, but this might surprise you. In the short term, I'm in favor of less marijuana shops and cannabis cafes rather than more. I'd like to see 6 or 8 total in the entire Riverhead footprint and see how they do. Make sure that the social equity people, again, this is a big part of this. Well, we're not going to have the medical facilities become the monopoly in Riverhead for getting weed. The people that were damaged by the marijuana laws here over the last 50 years, the minorities that have been stuck in prison for 20 years for doing what I was doing 4 nights a week, but because I was smart enough not to get caught, or I was a white guy and could have possibly gotten away with it. Those are the people that suffer. These are the people that New York State want to have licenses for now. And we will be looking very closely at what the percentages of people that had suffered social injustice end up getting the chance to profit from these facilities. Thank you.
Okay, so, I agree, but I don't see, a marijuana cafe being downtown next to an ice cream store. As far as, marijuana, my personal experience, Tim, I'm jealous that you work with 75 police officers and 25,000 people, and I was working with 36,000 cops and 11 million people, and in the narcotics division, and everybody was debriefed, and so I have my own. I wish I had your knowledge, and it is. I said before, we're coming together. We have legislation, it's law, we come together, we have differences, and it's not big in Riverhead, but I know what I've experienced. We don't have the infrastructure. I would have supported it if we had the infrastructure. But we're going to move forward because I think we have people here that want to come forward. Hi. Please state your name and your, where you're from.
Good evening.
Good evening,
Jack
sir.
Sheehan from East Mauritius.
East Mauritius? Okay.
First, I'd like to thank you guys for being forward-thinking enough to allow this to happen.
Jack, can you just push the mic a little bit?
There are not a lot of towns that did pass it, and speaking
It was
with some
only
of,
3, yeah.
speaking with some of the other towns, they're looking to see what you guys are doing and how well it works. So
That's correct.
I appreciate you not banishing this to the industrial districts because, as you stated, that's not where you want it. You obviously don't want it in downtown, next to schools, next to kids, but you don't want it in the outskirts, in dark industrial districts at night. So I just hope that you're open to reviewing and re-amending, seeing how things go, to possibly allow, maybe in the future, some social consumption lounges closer to the downtown area districts, even if it's just re-amending the maps. Just keep it moving, keep it going, and see how it goes. And again, yeah, just a thank you.
Okay,
because
thank you,
it
sir.
it's a big deal, and the other towns that we have spoken to, they are sending them to the industrial districts, so you really are the town that is going to be the proving ground of how it looks with these retail and social consumption.
Provided the state doesn't tell us that they're mandating us and they have precedence over us. This legislation is called a home rule that we're creating in our home, but the state will supersede us, and if they say, and they're providing the licenses, they say that you have to abide by all the alcohol, and we're gonna have a problem. I think they're gonna be working with us.
I think they will
Me
too, because you're
contacting
being
them,
less restrictive.
They want our legislation, we will give it to them. We needed to have the hearing and have, we will, I think they're gonna work with us, with this map. Dasher, is it, that's supposed to be creating, they haven't created the entire legislation yet, but they are accepting licenses, so they told us they're gonna work with us, let's hope they are, and maybe we will make that noise that we want and pass the map, and then we're comfortable with, so thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
So people that don't understand, we're referring to maps. We had mapped out the entire town, and it wasn't a map designed just to simply show where cannabis or retail consumption lounges would not be permissible, but at the same time, it showed where they will be permissible. So it was a helpful device for both sides of the spectrum. That's what we're referring to when we look at the mapping plans that we put in place. And I just want to echo Mike Foley about how hard Anne Marie Prudenti worked on this. Our deputy town attorney put countless hours in it, and so I thank her for everything she did.
Yes. You want to come forward? Yes.
Yes.
Channel River Road, Manorville.
Okay.
Is there anything involved in this legislation as far as cultivation in combination with dispensary?
You want to speak into the mic, Lid? I can't hear you
So, and
inside.
not in this legislation, but to answer your question, the best, I'm gonna direct you to the state's website. All the rules are there.
Right, so I'm asking because the state OCM board is allowing for the micro cultivation license, which combines the dispensary and the cultivation in the same
That's
location.
exactly what I'm talking about. They're issuing the licenses and they're issuing the regulations with it.
So what I'm asking is there anything pertaining to the cultivation zoning coinciding with the
Not in this
dispensary
legislation.
legislation?
Not at the moment.
Not for this, no.
Yeah, not for
in
this.
This is about time, place, and matter, but it does not discuss about growing, cultivation, any of the.
Can they designate it later? Absolutely, but it's not under this legislation.
Right, because from what I'm told so far, the state has kind of taken a position of it's up to the local municipality to determine whether you're zoned or not zoned as far as the cultivation part of it.
Okay. Now, I've personally spoken to the governor's office in the state,
We have-
Office of Cannabis themselves, and they have not created legislation yet. They're in the process of creating it, and they wanted to get our legislation. So, it's,
Unless I'm mistaken, I believe the only people that were issued licenses currently were.
Nobody's been issued a license. As of 2 weeks ago, when I spoke to them, they had a cutoff date, and they have to review the licenses, and then they're gonna issue them, and they're gonna issue them without the legislation in place.
Right, but what I'm saying
They
is
have
that
not
the
issued.
legacy hemp farmers that were issued, that had 2 years hemp experience, those people
He's
are all
talking about
cultivating.
growing and
He's talking
cultivating.
about-
It's a different thing
Yeah,
altogether.
these are two completely different things.
Yeah.
You're asking, I think, more about the agricultural production of cannabis.
With use.
What we're talking about is where we can sell it retail-wise and where it can be used in a lounge. That's what our local law is about. The state is addressing the agricultural
And the
production
medical.
of it. And for medical,
And
they've already
medical
done that.
purposes.
Right, no, and I completely understand that. I'm asking because of the OCM board lists the micro license as combining the entities, so you couldn't have the, the cultivation if it's not permitted in that area, if it was only permitted for dispensary, if there's no legislation, is why I'm asking. In other words, if you guys are passing,
If
all right,
there's
you
no
can go
legislation-
buy it at this
Yeah.
location, but there's no legislation on if you could grow it at that location. That's what I'm asking, if there's a.
The state will tell us.
The state will designate that.
Designates
Once
where
they
the
give their
growing-
license, the licenses are gonna have limitation. They're gonna say what their actions can, what they can and cannot do.
Right, I'm very familiar, but, so, if I'm an applicant for the micro license and I want to open a micro location in Riverhead, unless I'm mistaken, I believe it's 8,000 square feet to conduct your entire business. So to cultivate and sell on-site, you would need to be allowed to cultivate on that premise as well as the dispensary
There has
part.
been, well, right now, we're time, place, and management and sales. That's where we're working. As far as combining it with a nursery or hemp center, that's gonna come from the state. That hasn't been established. I know what you wanna say. I'm gonna grow it and sell it right then and there. That's the bottom line, what you're trying to get at, right? You want, like, somebody gets a license to grow, that you're saying, well, is the town gonna allow me to sell?
The OCM board has multiple licenses, so processing is one,
Yeah, but they
cultivation
all
is one,
have
dispensary is.
designations, what your
Right.
responsibility is.
But
We're not addressing that in this
We're
zoning
not
law.
addressing,
We're
this is
only
the public hearing.
addressing-
The time, place, and management for us, not the licenses, not the state. We already, I personally.
Right, and
informed
I
you
understand that.
that
I'm
the
just
state-
simply asking if the cultivation was considered in this legislation for the zoning
Absolutely not.
coinciding with a
And
dispensary.
public hearing, we have to keep it specific to the issue of the legislation.
It wouldn't be fair to address them both in one act of legislation, because we have an agricultural community that doesn't necessarily participate in the retail sales of things.
Right.
And so you're protecting agriculture, but, regardless, I think if I'm understanding what you're saying is basically we're outlining where it may be consumed. And so if any of those locations should fall within a farming community and you can grow it, that's one thing, but if it's not falling within a consumption area, even though, then you're not gonna be able to consume it where you may be actively growing.
Or retail-wise, I'm gonna liken this to the farmer that grows corn and then sells corn at his farm stand on his property of his farm. So you're suggesting if I can grow marijuana, can I sell it at the location that I'm growing it out front at a farm stand, basically? Is
No,
that-
it's not what I'm asking.
Okay, then I'm lost.
I'm not asking as a
Okay.
home farm, a stand at the road type of person. I'm saying this, I have hemp experience, 2019. I was involved in a 40-acre hemp grow out east in Matatuck. I've done regular conventional farming. I bought a farm upstate with a partner.
Again, but whatever license you get will tell you if you can sell or not.
Right, but the
we're
state
not addressing
OCM
that
board
right
just
now.
keeps kicking everything back to the local municipality right now as far
Well,
as.
that's what they're telling you, and that's not what they're telling me, and I've been involved with them personally directly.
I'm
With
I'm not,
assistant
I'm not putting
director,
any
so-
type of liability or
Yeah,
blame. I'm just
yeah.
telling you,
That's
as
because
someone
they
that
don't
has been
have,
involved.
that's because they don't have the legislation in place.
Right, and this is
they're
why
putting it
I'm-
on us. So you gotta
I'm
have to wait.
coming here as someone that's hopeful that you guys are involved, because the state, in my opinion, has dragged their feet on this entire situation. They've already had people
And where's your farm? It's
currently.
Not here where's your farm?
I was on leased acreage in Matatuck and then bought a farm in
Yeah, so
Orange
it's not
County.
Riverhead, we're dealing with Riverhead regulations, Riverhead time,
Right,
place,
but I'm
and
saying,
manner.
as someone looking to go forward in business, and I'd want to be in Riverhead, I don't want to be in the cargo situation where I invested money into a property and then there's issues with it
Well,
later. I'm
that's
asking
not
as
the
someone.
purpose here of you investing money and where you're gonna go and taking chances on your business. Let's keep it to, the place, time, and manner for home rule jurisdiction on what was developed here, as far as the types of licenses and who you are and expansion. That's all up in the air, and this is a public hearing that should be focused just on the time, place, and matter for Riverhead Township. And I'm sorry we don't have those answers for you. Nobody has them yet, but there will be legislation on them, because every license will dictate what you can do specifically, whether you can sell,
Right,
not,
and I'm aware of that.
Yeah,
I'm very
so-
well aware.
So if I'm understanding you, you know, if I take your scenario, you're wondering, from what I'm getting, and Ken, correct me if I'm wrong, you had a farm on Sound Avenue, I'm gonna be hypothetical, you had 2 acres and you're growing cannabis, and then you open up a farm stand to sell it. Is that what you're talking about?
No, the micro license would allow for indoor cultivation, which could be literally at any of the retail locations if it was allowed, or outdoor. It doesn't govern indoor, outdoor,
you wanna
although I
set-
believe only
Okay.
the legacy farmers had only got outdoor cultivation permitted. There hasn't been any legal indoor operation from the state.
So the
I could be
micro-
wrong.
The micro business is a specific type of license that they issue. This
Right.
legislation only deals with the retail license and the on-site consumption license, right? So the micro business
Riverhead.
license is, right, correct, in the town of Riverhead. So the micro business license is a little bit of a hybrid that's not specifically addressed by this legislation. But your point is well taken in that you would like to see us, I think what you're saying is you'd like to see us start exploring the, building on this legislation to address those types of licenses. Is that what I'm generally hearing?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you for your comment.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else?
Hi, my name's
Hello.
my name is Brian Plona. I live in Rocky Point right now. I have for the last 17 and a half years. I'm a prospective micro-business licensee, and what the gentleman was just talking about is correct. Now, a micro-business can grow, process, sell, and deliver. That is what a micro-business is, as defined by the MRTA. If that is true, then I should be able to have my grow somewhere, right? Like 5,000 square foot grow micro business. And then I'll be able to have a storefront somewhere else. I'm hoping what it's for, that's how it's gonna come down. If it doesn't come down that way, me getting a micro business license is going to hinder where I can put my storefront if they're not gonna let me separate the two entities, right? So with that being said, we can look at all the properties that are available and then say, hey, there's only a certain amount available. Now, you say that, this gentleman said he only wanted 8 or 9 stores. I got news for you. There's gonna be way more than 8 or 9 stores because you guys have the best right now of all 3 towns on Long Island that have the correct zoning. Town of Brookhaven is very restrictive, to the point where only one cannabis business can open up within another mile of another one, and only an industrial. So now you're taking that and jamming in, businesses into, the property's just gonna poof away, and people are gonna come out here, and that's what's gonna happen. So whether or not you think you're gonna be the cannabis destination, I got news for you. You're it now. We're coming. And we've always been here. That's the thing. This is going to change the face of what it's like to go out east. We go out east now to go to wineries, to go to farm stands, to go pick up a pie. The same difference. A micro business is the same thing. We can be a vineyard, we can be a brewery. People can come and have a destination for the afternoon, for the day. I can't have social on-site use because that's not part of the law. But I'm hoping that eventually that they do go to that model of a brewery, of a winery. Because now we already have buses going out east to the wineries. We already have people going to Tanger Outlet malls to buy booze. It's available everywhere. But yet you're going to over-restrict cannabis because I don't understand if the town is scared or what the deal is, but it really will benefit this town overall in general. And they are going to be, you said 500,000 people in Brookhaven. They all still want cannabis. And if town of Brookhaven is not gonna let us build there, guess where we're coming? Because we can still do delivery service. So delivery service will still be available. I commend the board for the forethought for the zoning, because it is the most progressive that it is. Now, back to the point that you keep saying about how you can have the time, place, and manner. The state, the only thing the MRTA states is that it cannot be over-restrictive. So when you put these laws, or the zoning, to the cannabis board, trust me, they're not gonna look at them and think that they're over-restrictive. Because all you have to do is look at the town of Brookhaven, and then compare the two, and it's apples and oranges. So, again, thank you for those, but we're coming, and it's gonna be more than 8.
Thanks for the warning. Next, anyone else? You have 2 people, or would you take somebody from online? Go ahead, let them take somebody from online, because they've been there. You'll be next. Okay.
Lee, you're on.
Thanks.
I want to,
Identify the person. Lee Mendelson, an attorney.
I want to echo, but probably a little more concisely, some of the comments that were made. I attended each and every of the meetings, and Councilman Rothwell exercised patience that is more often shown by a grandparent teaching a 7-year-old how to play chess than a politician. With a room full of, at times, hostile crowd. And they were full crowds for each of the meetings. I don't agree with everything in the legislation. However, overall, I actually think that it was an excellent job, and I had an opportunity to read through it before the meeting. I think that it'll evolve over time, and that we'll probably be able to improve it. But I do want to say that I think it was, from a process standpoint, it was handled very well, and that between the 4 towns that opted in on Long Island, that being Babylon, Brookhaven, Riverhead, and Southampton, OCM, the Office of Cannabis Management, has announced that Long Island will be granted 20 dispensary licenses initially out of the 150 licenses that are going to be given around the state. So Riverhead can assume that they're going to get obviously a couple of those licenses, since there's not a single town or village in Nassau County that has opted in, and really it's just the 4 towns that I just mentioned that have the opted in Suffolk County. So that what I think will happen is that it's going to be, I'm not quite sure of the boom we're talking about, but I think that it's going to have a positive impact on sales tax revenue for the town, and I think that it will benefit overall. And I do think that this was a very progressive decision by the board to proceed in this manner, and it will become one of the leaders in how to manage the cannabis law. So again, I think it was an overall a very good job, and I think that Councilman Rothwell handled it, what could have been a very, very difficult meetings. He handled them very well.
Okay, thank you for your comment. You have to come forward.
Joseph Lasico, Aquabog. I'm one of those lucky guys that got one of those cannabis licenses and everything. And clarify a couple of things for everyone here. For starters, I want to commend the board for putting all the setbacks in, all right? Even though I'm in it knee-deep and everything like that, I look at the flip side of the coin. I don't think any of us license holders would have a problem maybe signing the petition to keep the setbacks in place the way the town of Riverhead wants them and stuff like that. There's quite a few of us on the island. The OCM right now is putting out another round of licenses for mentees that are working with me and other license holders that are in farming and everything like that to open it up to them. So another round of licenses will be started to be issued probably within
a month and a half.
250.
Yeah, another
Applications
250. There's only 20 dispensaries being put on Long Island, and considering most of them, all of them are gonna be in Riverhead and one, in East End, you're only gonna get 5 dispensaries, so 6, 8, 10, 15, it's just not gonna happen, all right? I was trying to think what the gentleman was talking about, his micro license. Maybe he was trying to say is that if you restrict certain areas and whatnot, for him to be able to do it, if it's just Main Street or 58, to buy an 8,000 square foot piece of property and to have to do your dispensary and all your operations in one area, really at that point in time, if you got that money, you don't need the license. Let's be serious here. I don't know if that's what you were trying to say. Is that
All right, so let's stick to.
We are, but I'm just.
Hold on, being a marijuana proprietary, okay, proprietor, and looking to see if we can go and start a business here. Let's stick to a public hearing.
We
You
are.
don't live in this town. You said you do have a license here?
I live in Aquabah.
Okay, I'm sorry, you
Yes,
just said that.
19 years I've lived in Aquabah.
Okay, so
What
let's
I'm
just
trying
stick
to
to the public hearing, please.
I am.
Okay, thank you.
The public hearing is where the dispensaries are going to be and where the consumption lounges are going to be, right?
Right, and the
Okay,
maps.
all right. So, 2 years from now, the gentleman wants to apply for a micro license, which comes with everything you can do yourself. You can only sell your product. Now, if his situation is that you're just allowed to be on Main Street or 58, and you're not opening it up to a little bit of farmland where someone can buy 2 acres of property for $70,000 or $80,000 and put their business there, and instead of just say, if that's not inside the map of the areas where a dispensary is allowed, that gentleman right there is out of business. There's no way he can do that. This is what he was trying to say. This is what I was trying to figure it out, okay? To buy 2 acres in town, if I had that money, I don't need it. I don't need a dispensary license. I don't need a micro license. To buy 2 acres on 58, I don't have to tell you how much it's worth. This is what maybe he was trying to say. So he was probably saying, take a little consideration that the other license that are coming aboard, the next one is the micro license, which is you're allowed to grow, manufacture, and sell, maybe all on the same piece of property. To put up an 8,000 square foot facility and do all that right there is millions of dollars. It's approximately $450 a square foot to put up a facility to grow cannabis the right way. Do the math. At $3.2 million, who needs to open up a cannabis dispensary? And that's all I was trying to say. But my came up here was to commend you guys for putting the setbacks in place, to keep it away from the children, to keep it away from the open areas and churches and all that stuff there.
Okay.
Okay? And like I said, there's a couple of us license here holders. If you know who they are, mine's at the police department. You know, I don't think any of us would want to would have any problem signing a petition to keep your laws and what you're wishing for, and probably what everyone else is wishing for, in order to say, hey, the whole town is behind us, even the people that you gave licenses to. That's it.
All right, thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Next. Chip, we have one other person there? Let's just take one online, they've been there for a while, you can go next, okay? Israel, a real estate?
You're on.
AJ?
Good evening. So I was reviewing a copy of the proposed legislation, and I just had a couple questions. As far as the location, I don't know if this is the correct one or the correct version or not, but under E of the locations, it says, no retail or on-site consumption establishment shall be located within 2,500 feet of another cannabis one.
Yes,
What's the question?
that was to address saturation rate.
Okay, so maybe we'll come back to that. So my other question is, it's under F, it says, no retail or on-site consumption shall be established or located within 1,000 feet, measured from the nearest property line of the affected parcel and any residential use. Did that one make it in?
It's on there, it's on the resolution, they were put online. It's right, it's on there.
So if you look at where it's allowed, let's just take Route 58, for example. and you look at the map and you look at the map and it looks like it's pretty much allowed from Mill Road to the expressway. The majority of that, probably almost every parcel has residential within 1,000 feet of it. Did anybody overlay that part of the map? Like you're showing it that it's allowed where Costco is, but Costco is adjacent to a mobile home park. So that entire site is not allowed there.
So what is your stance on it? Do you oppose it or do you support it?
I just think that the 1,000 feet makes it where it's not, a lot of the parcels, once you got over the map of the use buffer, which I agree with the use buffer, and you look at the remaining pieces, a lot of the remaining pieces are disqualified by the residential component, by the residential, this letter F, within 1,000 feet.
Eric, as the attorney, can you?
Well, the map is the map. The map shows where it's allowed, it shows where it's not allowed, and it takes all of these restrictions into account.
Yeah, right, okay. Okay.
Okay, but,
I mean, these,
I think the 1,000
all
feet is
these
too
issues
far.
were considered by the advisory committee when they met.
They met 3 times and it was publicized, and I don't know if you were present.
I
but
went
it
to
was
one of them. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
you were
Sue.
there, so this is, all right, so.
But we weren't talking about, at the meeting that I went to, it wasn't 1,000 feet from the residential. We were talking about, the schools and the daycares.
So I'm suspecting you're opposing this 1,000 feet.
I think the 1,000 feet, if someone put a map, when I hear Mike Foley talking about that there's gonna be 8 of them between the 2,500 foot restriction, which from the expressway to Mill Road is only 1.1 miles, so maybe there could be 2 or 3 locations there, of which the 1,000 feet is going to disqualify the south side of the street because of Glenwood Village, and probably part of the north side is going to be disqualified by Glenwood Village and the other residential mobile home parks. I think if you're trying to allow it, the 1,000 feet is not helping allowing it over there. On the east side of town, so looking at Route 58, the rest of Route 58 almost must have residential adjacent or within 1,000 feet. 1,000 feet is far.
So you want it closer then? You just said it's far.
Yes, I think someone needs to look, if we're trying to
Okay,
allow it.
So, all right, this is a public hearing, you made it a point, we'll
Yes.
look at section F. The public hearing is to go back and forth, get information,
Sure.
possibly adjust a resolution, and that would be, you can contact the attorney's office and maybe move further onto it, but we understand that you are against the
So
1,000 feet and you want it closer,
My
correct?
comment is it's not logical if we're trying to allow them that it's 1,000 feet.
Okay.
The legislation that was written does, clearly, the mapping system states that there are allowable parcels to be purchased for retail sales and as well as for consumption sales. So there are available locations within the town while addressing at the same time saturation rates. This legislation, with any other legislation that we write in town, may be amended in years to come. So I think this is a very good starting point for the town. It allows it to be carefully selected. And should the town decide in the future to hold to these current restrictions that are in place or to expand them or loosen them, we'll adjust them in the future as the product grows in the town, literally.
And have we, okay.
Well, I think I know what the thing is, like, you have a lot of properties in town, so you don't want to do the 1,000 feet, right? You're buying everything in downtown in the TOD, so now you're opposing the 1,000 feet, but we'll take that into consideration. There was an extensive amount of work done on this, and if you want to move further, you speak to the attorney. Our town attorney has been doing a great job, Emery Prudenti, the councilman.
This is good foundation work.
This is, yes, so, I understand why you're concerned with the 1,000 feet.
But I want to thank you. I think you make a good point. And it's absolutely worth looking into.
I think that if we did is it possible to have Jeff or someone do a map of the residential overlay and how that would narrow the locations? Does that map exist?
It's done.
It's done. It's already been done. There's been public forums that would take, they're on there, so, again, this is, you're concerned with the 1,000 feet, we made your comment, we're fully aware, we understand why you're concerned with it, and this legislation can be tweaked, so I would suggest you call the town attorney and, speak to him if you wanna move this further. We still have a lot more people. I'm gonna have to cut you off. We don't.
Can I just ask one more question?
Oh, we don't, we don't stop people from, on a public hearing. However, when it gets way too long, then we let somebody jump in, because people have to go home, feed their kids, go to bed, people are online.
Okay.
So I'll pick you up on the back if you want, and I told you that you were gonna be next, so you can go
thank
ahead,
you.
sir.
Hey, how you doing,
Good
everybody? Can you
Good
hear me?
evening.
Good? Yeah, right on, close on. My name's Anthony DiVincenzo. I'm a resident of Bellport, but I'm also the chapter secretary for the Long Island Committee of CANI, which is the Cannabis Association of New York. I, too, want to thank Riverhead for the work that they've done. You guys truly are a leading light in cannabis regulation. We, as an organization, have been engaging with all of the towns.
And who you with, sir?
Say that again?
Who you with?
CANI, the Cannabis Association of New York, we are the largest lobbyist group of cannabis entrepreneurs, farmers, cultivators, processors in the state. So, again, thank you.
And any relationship to,
My parents are your neighbor. Yeah, 2 houses down.
Oh, I know I've seen your face, but
Yeah.
now I'm like, oh, okay,
It's nice to see you.
okay,
You do
likewise.
awesome up here, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, just a couple of things. So again, thanks. You guys are the first one to actually provide a map. There are so many towns that have not, or they just have computer programs that you have to focus in so close you actually can't read it. I do have concerns over the distances, but I do hear that you guys are open-minded to seeing how it goes and perhaps making changes from there. So thank you so much for that. You know, one thing that I did hear, and I just want to relay, I also talk often with the OCM and have been going to all the tour stops. The state is not coming out with regulations. They are not going to try and dictate anything. That was said to us in the meeting in Comac just 3 weeks ago. What they are going to come out with is recommendations so that towns can avoid litigation from businesses who are looking to open. So in that sense, one thing that the MRTA does state is that these zoning laws cannot be unique to only cannabis. So it's something to think about as a board and as a town. If these zoning laws are only for cannabis, you guys are leaving yourself open to litigation against not myself, but people who may have a business interest and therefore will try and press those buttons to get what they want. People who usually have a lot more money than me. So the other thing I want you guys to think about is that the harder we make it to access, people will follow the path of least resistance. So if there's not somewhere close by or easy access for them to do it, they will go and opt to work with the legacy market, which is a fancy word for the black market or illicit sales. So that is something to be wary of, and I worry about that for reasons such as we have in this legislation that you cannot have cannabis and food services in the same building. This may come from some inexperience from the board, but when you use cannabis, your stomach becomes very engaged in the experience and you become hungry. What you don't want people doing is driving stoned. So why would we put people in a situation where they can get stoned and get hungry but then cannot satiate that feeling inside of that same establishment? I could understand not wanting to medicate certain types of food so that there's a easier way for people to regulate the intake of cannabinoids and therefore not get kind of too messed up. But I think that there is a mistake there in not allowing people to have some French fries or a pretzel or anything like that while they are consuming cannabis. This is actually a very popular thing to do inside of other countries that have cannabis tourism like Germany, Spain, and Holland. That's really it. You guys have done a tremendous job, and again, I want to thank you for that, but I just want you guys to be aware of some of the things the MRTA says. and some of it which may be opposed to the legislation you're putting forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Say
you.
hello to your parents for me.
Absolutely.
Let them know where I feel. In fact, I was with them last night for dinner. They had no idea. But, the state is still I am very confident after speaking to, the state and the governor's office who set up the meeting, and the governor knew my concerns and intentionally set up the meeting, that what they reported to us in that meeting was correct, that DASPA is gonna create their legislation, they're in the middle of it, and, they want our legislation to see where we stand, and I thank the state for working with us in that regard. So moving forward, anyone else? Is Israel back? Okay, so we're gonna,
Mike Levy.
okay, that's good, because we have people waiting here for the resolutions for a long time. Mike,
That's why I was waiting, it's going to be 2 minutes.
go ahead.
Thank you. They're talking about restricting location. We haven't done that. We've opened up this dispensary process to every retail area in the zoning map. So the problems are not in our town. They're in towns that try to restrict this to an industrial area. New York State law, I will quote, cannot do so in such a way that makes the operation of the retail dispensary or on-site consumption unreasonably impractical. Most would say that 2 of the other areas up island have violated that. We have not. We've made it wide open. And as to the gentleman with the the micro business, one of the issues that the state is looking to avoid is tax evasion. And if you have somebody with the ability to grow it and sell it, there's no middleman, there's no control on what is being grown and what is being sold. So tax revenue can be lost by under-the-counter, if you will, sales. The people that are in this room that know about it know that every piece of weed that comes in has a number. It's regulated and tracked from the time it leaves the farm to the time it hits the sales. That's how we get our taxes, to avoid the tax evasion. Thank you.
And we also have to be mindful that the state law indicates that adults can grow 5 plants each, up to 10 plants?
6.
Oh, 6 is it? I'm sorry, I missed one.
6 mature, 6 immature, up to 12 total for 2 adults.
12 plants, so I don't know who is gonna say, I'm going to a place, I can grow it at home, both of us as adults, I'm gonna go get taxes on it, and better yet, let's go 20 minutes away to Southampton, to the reservation, where it's tax-free. So those are concerns that we have, and you somehow touched on that. All right, moving forward, are we done with this, no one else want to comment? Okay, we're now going to close this public portion section of the hearing. It'll remain open for written comment until 4:30 PM on October 28th at the town clerk's office.
Good job.
Yes.
A lot of work.
Okay, the last public hearing was scheduled for 6:15. It's way over that, obviously. And the time now is 7:42. We're going to open up a public hearing regarding an alleged unsafe structure at 46 East Second Street in Riverhead. And Eric Howard, our town attorney, I think you have an announcement to get this started?
Yes, I do. Thank
Okay.
you, Madam Supervisor.
You're
So
welcome.
after we scheduled this public hearing, the owner of the property did submit an application for a demolition permit. That application came in on September 15th, and the demolition permit was issued on October 7th. It's my understanding that the demolition proceeded on October 17th, and that they are in the process of clearing the debris from the site. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask that the town clerk put in the record the notice of unsafe structure that was issued by our building inspector, a proof of mailing to the property owner pursuant to the prior resolution we did to schedule this public hearing, and a copy of the demolition permit issued by our senior building inspector. And then I'm going to ask that I'm going to ask the board to adjourn the public hearing to the next town board meeting date, and if the if the property's been cleared of the debris and our building inspector has closed the demolition permit, then we can close this.
Cancel the hearing.
We can close this hearing as moot.
Okay, so we're gonna move to keep this public hearing record open until the next town board meeting, which is November 2nd, by which time it is anticipated our building department would have closed our demolition permit on the subject property. Does the board agree with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna move forward. Thank you, Eric, in that regard. So this is gonna conclude our public portion of our meeting today. We're gonna move on to public comments on the resolutions that's before us today. Okay, so on the resolutions that's before us today, does anybody want to comment? And it will also have, do we have anybody online also, Chip? Okay,
Is
we
Ike
do
still
have
there?
people. No, it's done, the public is closed, so, yeah. We closed the public hearing, so now we're on resolutions. Okay,
Mike Foley, Reeves Park, speaking on Resolution 743 and Resolution 754. 743 authorizes the funding from the COVID American Rescue Plan for not-for-profit entities serving town residents. Just want to serve as a reminder, the only reason that this resolution is here is because the American Rescue Plan was passed by the Biden administration. Had they not done that, this funding for very, very much needed money from not-for-profit entities would not have been there. So I certainly stand in favor of Resolution 743. Resolution 754 adopts a local law amending Chapter 302 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Moratorium on the Development of Commercial Solar Energy Production Systems within the town of Riverhead. I certainly agree with that, but I also want to add, it doesn't go far enough. If you have not received yet, you will be receiving a letter from the Group for the East End that talks about expanding the moratorium to industrial development in the hamlet of Calverton. We've spoken about this a lot. I believe that there is a clamoring that because we are so far behind on the comprehensive plan, not because of the town board, actually, I think you did the right thing by firing AKRF. I think you did the right thing by hiring BFJ. I think they're gonna do a good job. But they're not done. And we have so many things going on in this town right now that the developers and the realtors can take advantage of the fact that they're doing these things piecemeal. And unless we start to get a handle on this on a cumulative way, the developers will be putting things where they do not belong. We need to take a hard look at a total moratorium on all non-residential development in the town of Riverhead. But for the resolution as it stands, I stand in favor of it. Thank you.
okay, thank you. Anyone else want to come forward? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, hi. My name is Sharon Boyd, Executive Director of Dress for Success Brookhaven.
Right.
And we would like to thank the board for considering this resolution to expand our services out in the Riverhead Township and provide services to women and the community. This is Cherie Christmas. She'd like to also.
Okay.
Hi,
Oh, talk into the mic.
can you hear me?
Yes.
I've been working with Dress for Success over 20 years, and I've been on the board with Sharon. I've been there about 5 years, and we have been wanting to get out to Riverhead area and come out east. And COVID really hurt us as far as fundraising. We were not able to do any fundraising the last.
On that topic, I think it was reported in one of our newspapers that in 2019, you guys made $158,000.
Yes.
But what wasn't reported was COVID, the year 2020, 2021, and 20. Can you tell us where your finances are? Because I didn't get a sense of, which is the most current, but can you just help us on that end to make us understand?
It's important, and Sharon can give you the detail, but you know what? COVID really hurt us because we had a great year for us. We've been growing the last 5 years because our goal is to get out here east. And so we had a fundraiser that year, which was a big deal, and we got some great money from our sponsors. And then everything kind of shut down. So the next few years, we couldn't do any fundraising at all, and we're all volunteer-based. So what we did was we created programs for our women on Zooms, And nobody is paid to work for us. So with everybody pulled together, and we really help the community, but we have a lot of amazing clothes, we have a lot of amazing services, and we don't have the money to get out here, and we want to buy a van, and we've been looking for the van, and we need to get gasoline and a driver so that we can actually take all these beautiful clothes that we have and services and bring them out to Riverhead and your area. And we do want to work with children, high school graduates especially, that may not be going to college or may, and really educate them on how to, write a resume, get career services. Remember, we have all volunteers that are lawyers and doctors and businesswomen, and so we've got an amazing group of women that volunteer their time, and we're going to look for new women out here in Riverhead to help us as well. So we're going tomorrow to a networking event. I live 10 minutes from here. I'm from Remsenburg, and Sharon lives near Brookhaven. What's the exact town? Patchogue. So this is our goal, and yes, we do need the money, and this is a small step for us to be able to pay. We're looking to get an office, as you know, in Riverhead, and this money will help us.
A satellite office.
A satellite office, yes.
So what I understand, and somebody had posed this to me, was that you were hoping to create, to obtain a van, and it was gonna get retrofit.
Yep.
So you can become mobile as a result of COVID, and you can work in Riverhead, go to the schools, other churches.
Yes,
Or
so
somebody
this
needs a
grant would
service.
help with that.
Right, and somebody needs an interview, you can go with the van, fit them there, interview, there's training that you do. You start from the beginning, do a resume, and you will follow through with training, correct? Or-
Correct. We have a Career Edge program, and
Okay.
that is our job readiness program.
Okay.
That's what we really do. That's what we're the most proud of. We actually get a lot of clothes, and we get, we have tons of beautiful clothes, but we're the most proud of what we do for women. And what we do for women helps the families, because that's the whole point, is to keep women off the system and help them be financially independent.
Sustainable.
And feel proud and confident. And it's an amazing organization. It's 25 years old, helped over 1 million women. I mean, it's just, we're
It's a
really
world,
excited.
international, correct?
Yes.
To explain a little better, we are global, we're worldwide. We have 160 chapters in 28 countries.
Great. And what would happen in a circumstance that you get a call for somebody and says, we don't have any money and my daughter has a problem?
We're taking her. We do not.
We accept everyone.
Including men?
Everything is free of charge.
We don't do the men yet, but we do.
That didn't sound just right.
Our mission,
We have to stay focused, only
Yeah.
because,
Okay.
it's hard. But we do have, so if we are out here, we will have a little fundraiser, and we do collect men's clothes, so you guys can get ties for $1 that are amazing.
Okay,
And we will tell you about it, because we don't have a lot of men that know about us.
great. Well, thank you for taking, I'm sorry you had to wait for long. Some of these night meetings can get long, as you can see. There were hot topics tonight, and I appreciate you, reaching out to the town. And the resolution is up, and we'll take a vote on it today.
oh, great. Thank
great.
you for considering us and, expanding our services.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome. Anyone else want to
Thank
come
you.
forward in that regard?
Yes.
That's so cute. They
Sit
have an
back,
office
wait,
in
River.
Brooklyn.
Comment or question also about Resolution 24? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, there's someone related to the Dress for Success? I'm sorry, I think they want to keep it, who is that?
Diana?
Diana?
Diana, are you on?
Yes, I
Diana
am.
here.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Former councilwoman from East Hampton, correct?
Yes, I was, and worked a lot with the town of Riverhead. I'm so proud of this board for what you have been doing. It's an amazing transformation to the town. I am the chair of the board for Dress for Success. Dress for Success, as they explained, is worldwide, and our chapter was the first chapter ever as an affiliate for the organization. So we've been around for a lot of years. Our help is to all women. We take young women, older women, divorced women, married women, people in crisis. There is no age limit. There is no restriction as to who we can help if they need the help. So I want to make that clear. This is not just for a certain group of women. We have had many different ages, many different social status. You never know when someone in a family, either through divorce or death
or some other circumstance needs our help. We are so proud of what we do, and because of the horrible, horrible transportation on Long Island, it is difficult for women to get to us. So this effort that we are undertaking, and all the money that we have, by the way, we have no paid employees. 95% of our money goes to the programs, and we only use a very small amount for purchasing of things that maybe we don't have donated to us. So we are very lean and mean, and because of the traffic situation, a lot of women cannot get the help they need. So we are taking this on the road. Other affiliates throughout the country have done this successfully. Every one of our donors, we have Capital One, of course, we have the town of Brookhaven. We would love to have the town of Riverhead, will be on our bus or on our van, so that everybody knows who participates and is able to give us the support. This would be a tremendous help to finalize and get our show on the road, as we call it. We would go to senior centers, we would go to churches, we would go to all senior clubs, young clubs, the colleges, the community college in Riverhead. So we want to be able to service everyone. And the schools are a great place because a lot of the young girls that are getting out do not have clothes ready for a resume and ready to be interviewed. So we do give them all those skills and all the clothes that they need to look presentable and professional when they do their interviews. So I want to thank you for allowing us the opportunity to apply and for considering us, and I hope that it is a positive resolution. Thank you so much, Board.
Great.
Thanks, Diane.
Thank you, Frank. Thanks, everybody.
I just want to say
Yay.
that I've known Diane personally for a long time. Nobody brings to a cause more expertise and energy than Diane does to whatever cause she happens to have.
Oh, thank you, Frank.
And I
Thank
know.
you very much.
I know from people who know you, you have served very well in East Hampton Town. Your reputation is out there, and thank you. You know,
Thank you,
we
Madam
look forward to
Supervisor.
working.
Thank you so much.
Okay, take care, Diane. All right,
Okay,
anyone
bye.
else want to come forward on the topic of Dress for Success? Oh, Mr. Sid?
Looking good.
Any resolution.
Any resolution.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Marie Viscotti. I didn't know Dress for Success was going to be here. I don't know these ladies, but I am very involved with Dress for Success. And I have to tell you, I've personally met some of the women that benefited, donated as much as I can. It is one of the most...
At another chapter.
At another
right.
chapter,
Yeah,
not
'cause
here.
you're gonna confuse-
But I know
Right, yeah.
the concept and what they do and the work that they do, 1,010%. I can't think of a better organization to help women, especially in today's world. So I salute you all for what you're doing. You can count on us to support you, but I have to back this organization because they are amazing in the work that they do and the people that they help and serve.
And they're currently serving in a building in Brookhaven. Romaine gave him an office, an email to operate from it. They've been very successful there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great
That is
organization.
why we are successful, the volunteers, and because we have the office.
Because you have the office,
We
so,
don't have the money to spend for big stores. and
right,
we have the
okay,
offices.
perfect. Anyone else on Dress for Success? All right,
Councilman Bayrat and myself, as philanthropists, will buy Councilman Hubbard and Councilman Kearns a dollar tie.
Anything for the cause.
And I might use that tie on Councilman Rothwell.
that's because he doesn't want to spend the $2 on a beer, cheapo. Make sure you charge him more. Chip, do we have anyone? That's all. That's it, on these resolutions?
Somebody's waiting.
Oh, Mr. Sid. Bale. Mr. Sid Bale.
Sid Bale, Wading River. Comment on, or question really, on Resolution 24 about the demolition of the house on 168 Creek Road. From what I know about this thing, this has been going on for a few years, the deterioration of the house. And it's my impression the town has tried to work with the owner of the property. I had a lot of conversations with Bob Kazakevich, during this, and he thought we were always very close, and something good was going to happen. And now it became Mr. Howard's domain. But one thought about this, I realize if the house is taken down, the costs and everything are collected from the property owner, correct?
No, yeah,
Well, the cost will be assessed to the property.
Yes, yeah. But assuming the house is taken, you vote to take it down tonight.
it was, today.
Today.
No, that was 46 East Second Street. This is a
Oh, which
different
one you
house.
talking about? I'm sorry, you're talking about Creek Road?
Creek Road.
Okay, I'm still on the other one that was taken down.
Okay.
Got it.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm not,
No, you're good, Sid. You're good, Sid.
Keep talking, we're listening.
It's one of the resolutions, there was two
it
of
was
them.
better to address for
Got it.
success.
Oh, no. Go ahead,
I
Creek
just-
Road.
Well, my question that would be, and I guess would be apply also to the house that you may act on, et cetera.
Yeah, it was taken
Who's
down.
responsible for the property after the house is taken down? Does it just remain
Which one?
a field, either one of them? Like, in other words, like the one on
Yeah.
Creek Road, we watch the weeds grow for 2 or 3 years before any
But we had a
determination
public
is
hearing.
dealt with the property?
Yeah, we had a
Well,
public hearing
okay,
on
so
the other one, so I
it
got it.
depends on a couple
Oh, you
things,
like
all right? So once it's
Yeah.
cleared off, it's still owned by the property owner, right? So they're still responsible for the maintenance of the property. If it becomes overgrown or...
Yes.
Okay, so we could do another public hearing if they fail to respond to notices
Okay.
to remedy the weeds or the grass or, any other
Okay.
rodent infestation, whatever. Now, if they don't pay their taxes, then the county would,
All right.
would move on it, and then it would be sold at a tax
Okay,
sale.
okay. Thank you
We'd
for
have
the
a lien on it to
clarification.
get our money.
And we would
Yeah.
have the lien for our assessed costs against the
Sorry,
property.
I was at wrong place.
No, you weren't.
It was two houses. Sid, also, they're gonna get summons, so if they don't maintain that, code will be watching it and get the summonses, and then they take it to the next level, then they can take it into court. So, yeah, it will be monitored, thanks. All right, you have one person.
Barbara Bless.
Okay.
And you're on, Barbara.
Good evening, thank you. Good evening, members of the board, Barbara Blast, Jamesport. I have a couple of questions on a few resolutions. First, 726, 727, and 728 all pertain to the drag racing events, and they all reference short-term agreements and the utilization of both runways. Since the agreements weren't attached to the resolutions, I was wondering if you could tell me how much we're collecting from the applicants for the use of the runways for these events?
Well, previously, we'd been collecting, with prior similar agreements, we've been collecting $2,500 per event day.
Okay, and will that be the same for these events next year?
That would be my intention going forward, yes.
Okay, thank you.
And I
Resolutions.
just want, now that we have the board here, I know that it came to our attention that they're gonna utilize a rain date this coming Saturday, correct? I see that you guys are here, you're gonna utilize, which is within the contract, so.
Well,
just to-
and just to clarify, the agreement itself is always subject to town board approval, so I mean, ultimately, if there were any terms and conditions in that agreement that they wanted to see modified or changed, they would let me know that, and I would go to whichever applicant it applies to.
Thank you, good. Resolution 731 acknowledges receipt of $7,500 from Blue Moon Property Management for Water District Map and Plan. And I was wondering if you could tell me what project that's for. I looked it up on the active applications and it wasn't there, so I was just wondering who is paying for a map and plan.
I'm gonna ask Anne Marie Prudenti to come up. Our water superintendent is not here tonight.
Yeah, I
Anne Marie,
apologize.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I can do the research and get back to you. The superintendent briefed me on some of the resolutions. That one I missed. So I'll supplement the information.
Well, typically these apply to work that the developer needs done to connect to water, and the connection is done by our water department, but the developer pays for it. I couldn't tell you offhand which particular project this is.
Correct,
this is,
and
relevant to.
usually anything over a 1-inch main will require a developer to pay the money. Whether or not Blue Moon project involves a map and plan, again, I'll research it, respond, and get back to you. Because not all improvements require a map and plan.
Okay. Anything else, Barbara?
Well, it's just that the letter specific, and the resolution does say it's calling for a map and plan, and I was not familiar with the developer, so, but I appreciate any information you could provide for that. And I do have one more, Resolution 756, which reads as a notice to schedule a public hearing to amend Chapter 301 Zoning and Land Development, Article 39, to allow accessory retail uses within the planned industrial park zoning use district. And I'll wait for the public hearing to actually comment on the proposed changes, but the title is not complete as it's written. The amendment isn't just proposing to add an accessory retail use in the PIP district, it's also adding a primary use, indoor sports and recreation facilities by special permit. So the title should really better reflect what the proposed changes are. And I request that respectfully that you amend it accordingly. Thank you very much for your
Okay,
time.
thank you, Barbara. Anyone else? Do we have anybody on Zoom? That's it. So moving forward to resolutions, we are now going to read the resolutions, and the town board is going to vote on the resolution before us today. Diane, can you please read the resolutions?
Certainly. Resolution 725.
Approve special permit, Chapter 255 application for Mustang and Shelby Club of Long Island, Riverhead Ford Mustang Shelby, and All Ford Roundup Car Show. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 726.
Approve special event, Chapter 255, application for Scramble Inc. titled Scramble, Geplands. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
I just want to mention that these applications, there are a couple of them here tonight, regarding races at the track. That's noted that if the property is sold, this, obviously this wouldn't take place unless you have some kind of agreement with a new owner, should there be one. That's all. Yes, I vote yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 727.
Approve special event, Chapter 255, application for racetrack, not street, 2023 Summer Series. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 728.
Approved special event, Chapter 255, application for racetrack, not street, Run What You Brung. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 729.
Amendment fee waiver request for special event application, Famous Food Festival, postpone event until 2023. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 730.
Resolution to amend Resolution 2021-597 and authorize budget transfer for cupola at George Young Community Center. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes, and thank you, Dawn, for working on this with the Jamesport Civics. We look forward, it's about time. It's getting done.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 731.
Water District Capital Project number 82222, Blue Moon Property Management Budget Adoption. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 732.
Appoints a seasonal water treatment plant operator, 2B. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 733.
Ratifies the appointment of an electrical inspector, so moved.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 734.
Accepts the resignation of a deputy town attorney, so moved.
Vote, second.
So, seconded, sorry.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yeah, best of luck.
Hubbard.
Yeah, thank you, Dan, for your years of service to the town. Best of luck to you.
Aguirre.
Yes, and especially to the Pine Barrens Commission, where you serve side by side, and you're very knowledgeable, and again, thank you for that service.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 735.
Accepts the resignation of a homemaker, so moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 736.
Accepts the retirement of a police officer. So moved.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes, best of luck to Dana on her retirement and years of service that she put in for the town PD. So, yes.
Aguirre.
Best of luck, Dana. Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 737.
Appoints a part-time police officer and places him on leave of absence. So moved.
Can I get a second?
Seconded?
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 738.
Appoints a deputy town attorney, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes, welcome aboard.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 739.
Sets terms and conditions for Deputy Town Attorney Richard B. Stafford, so moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes, best of luck.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 740.
I know. It's a long contract, yeah.
740.
Can I, oh, wait, I'm on, I think I'm there. I got it, thank you. Reject bids for traffic signal emergency repair and maintenance and additional work as authorized 2022-2023, so moved.
Seconded?
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 741.
Authorizes the town clerk to publish and post bid for traffic signal emergency repair and additional work as authorized 2022 to 2023. So moved.
Second?
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 742.
Awards bid for insurance brokerage services, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 743.
Authorizes funding from the COVID American Rescue Plan Act for the not-for-profit entities serving town residents, so moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
They're sitting on their pins and needles. Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes, and I just want to make a point that we put online the people to submit the applications. We got 6 applicants, and all 6 got the $25,000, and that's the Warrior Ranch, and that's a great service. The East End Disabilities that we work, and you're the liaison there, and East End Advocacy, they to service children who are abused or sexually abused and work with their families, and they just opened up an office here in Riverhead. And of course, just for success that they showed off today. They were, dressing up. We welcome you. And Halleckville Museum Farm, Roberta, I know that you wanted to start a project, and they submitted, and I don't think, that's a perfect location. And the East End Arts Council, right, which is that we need culture. These are all 501 organizations. It was distributed fairly, and congratulations. I vote yes.
Excellent choices on all 6.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Resolution 743 is adopted. Resolution 744.
Authorize the supervisor to execute an agreement for court reporter services. Donna Spratt. So moved.
Seconded?
Oh, roll please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar. Re-
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 745.
Authorizes agreement with New York State acting through the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 746.
Ratifies authorization for the supervisor to execute an agreement with DSI Medical Services, Inc. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 747.
Approves expenditure of trust and agency account funds and community benefit funds to activate observatory hatch for Riverhead Central School District. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
I wondered a long time looking at that, so yes, this is good.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Yeah, this is very, very good stuff, so yes, I say yes.
Hubbard.
Yeah, I want to thank Councilman Kern for working with the school district on this and getting this going, and also to Petroselli Contracting, who's going to assist and make this operable again, and it's a great thing. So thank you, and I vote yes.
Aguiar.
Yes, and when the school board, when the school superintendent mentioned it to us at a meeting, Kern decided, I asked him to take the lead on it, and I know he's been out to the location, and there is going to be movement. This location has been dead for quite some time. How many years was it not operable?
Long time.
Very, very long time, and it's for the school. It's exciting to see this happen, and yes.
Okay, Resolution 747 is adopted. Resolution 748.
Affirms prior determination that the structure located at 168 Creek Road, Wading River, also known as Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-29-1-30.1, is unsafe, is in imminent danger of collapse, poses a hazard and danger to the public, and directs the town engineering department to facilitate the demolition of said structure and to assess demolition, removal, and administrative cost against the subject property. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 749.
It's a curveball, Frank.
Oh. Adopts a local law amending chapter 289.17 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Parking Time Limited. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 750.
Adopts a local law amending chapter 207 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Animals, section 16, thereof entitled Confinement of Companion Animals in Vehicles in Extreme Temperatures. So moved.
Second, please.
I'll say second. He stole my resolution.
I know.
I know, I was just assuming what's
Before
going
he
on
was,
here.
Oh,
all right.
You can take mine too.
Okay, he got a second. Take the vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 751.
Authorize the submission of letter of intent and execution of contract by the supervisor for operation and maintenance grant program to New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation, EFC. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 752.
I'm going to defer this one to Councilman Rothwell.
Thank you.
Yes.
You put so much time in on this, I think it's appropriate you read the resolution.
Thank you very much. Resolution 2022-752 authorizes the acceptance of donation of an outdoor rink from Pakanakaki. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes, and I'm going to say, Ken, great job, and it was a pleasure working with, good job.
Rothwell.
Yes, absolutely. And welcome to Riverhead. It's going to be a phenomenal future that we have together here. So thank you.
Bayrock.
Very exciting stuff, yes.
Hubbard.
Absolutely, yes.
Aguiar.
Yes, we finally had all the paperwork in check, and that's a little bumpy start, but we need to protect our town and myself, and it's all done, and Eric, you did a good job. I know that you spent a lot of time and with revisions, but that's what good legislation is all about. Yes,
Thank you, Supervisor.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 753.
Peconic Hockey Foundation, Inc., Secra, classification, lead agency, and negative declaration. So moved.
Seconded.
vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes,
Resolution adopted. Resolution 754.
Adopts a local law amending Chapter 302 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Moratorium of the Development of Commercial Solar Energy Production Systems within the Town of Riverhead. So moved.
Second.
vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
I will recuse myself as I have in the past for similar reasons and have always done for the moratorium. So yes, recuse.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes,
Resolution adopted. Resolution 755.
Authorizes the painting of a mural at 127 East Main Street, Riverhead, Town Square. So moved.
Seconded?
vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes,
Resolution adopted. Resolution 756.
Notice to schedule a public hearing to amend Chapter 301 Zoning and Land Development, Article XXXIX, to allow accessory retail uses within the planned industrial park PIP zoning use district. So moved.
I was going to say, she gave that one to you already.
that's it, vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yep, fine.
The resolution adopted. Resolution 757.
That's a tough one, Brent.
Oh, that's for me?
Yeah.
Pays the bills.
Seconded.
That's your favorite. Okay, so
Vote,
Kern.
please. Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Aguirre.
yes.
Resolution adopted.
Okay, so we are pretty much done here. We just have, if anybody wants to comment on anything, and then the town meeting will be gonna close. Yes, Mr. Sid, as I like to call you.
Mr. Sid, okay, I've been called other things. This is a question about the comp plan. I watched the work session a couple of weeks ago, BFJ, and you guys came to seemingly an agreement that that's the firm you're going to go with. Have you signed a contract with BFJ?
Not yet.
No, so what they did is, we had to talk to McLean and make sure they were gonna be on board and working together with
Okay.
everybody. So it's in the process of being put
Okay.
together very, very, very soon. And I believe, Mr. Murphy is having a meeting with, them on Friday that he's asked me to join in on, in going over the particulars of the contract itself, so, very, very soon.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. Anyone else? Okay, you wanna bring the online person? And then we'll,
Kathy McGraw is coming on here.
Oh, forget it, then she can wait.
yeah.
That was Mark Harbner who said that.
I know, we can't even believe it. It
Say
was-
that on the mic, Mark. You're on, Kathy.
Hi, good evening. Kathy McGraw from Northville. Excuse me, I have a cold. Madam Supervisor, with all due respect, I must speak tonight to correct the misinformation you shared with Bruce Tria on WRIV this morning about my participation at the Supervisors Forum in Southampton last week. It was a meeting open to the public, and I attended because I was interested in hearing what the East End supervisors had to say about their towns. I went to listen. I had no intention of speaking. When, however, you gave the microphone to Chris Kent, the attorney for Calverton Aviation and Technology, to explain the plans for EPCAL, and he categorically denied that CAT was planning a cargo airport and warehouse distribution center, I felt compelled to correct the record. I put my hand up, I was recognized to speak, and I stated that at the September 21st IDA meeting, where CAT presented its project, in no uncertain terms, CAT's representatives told the IDA CAT is planning to use both runways at EPCAL for cargo planes, along with building in Phase 1, 600,000 square feet of warehouse distribution space. And he added in the future an additional 8 million square feet of warehouse space. You, Madam Supervisor, gave the microphone to CAT's paid attorney, Chris Kent, who was in the audience. If he had the right to speak, then so did I. I was not argumentative. In a minute or less, I stated what I had heard at the IDA meeting. I had every right to do so. It was a public forum with questions and comments taken from the floor. I am offended by your characterization of my attendance at that meeting. No one in the audience disturbed the meeting in any way, and I think you owe me, and I am asking you for an apology. Thank you.
Okay, I didn't name you by name, and that was my interpretation. Civic groups came to a Southampton town open meeting to put, in my opinion, the way it was put was fear that the life in Southold is going to be this everyday life is going to be disturbed in Southampton, and it was more of the airplanes, and it would be a super hub coming into. I was taped. I was given the tape was given to a local newspaper. I was quoted word for word, and so I have my interpretation. I know what happened. I was there. I never mentioned you. You're the one that chose to come on, and what wasn't reported was what the other supervisors stated. Hey, it looks like a Riverhead Town issue. Don't get me involved in it. Put the fear. And it was also stated that by another supervisor that there's going to be a town hearing on this, so you have to wait for the process. Whatever it is, you said your comment, we're going to move forward. You have anybody else? Mr. Hoffner, you want to come forward? How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Mark Hubner from Aquabug, and tonight I'm here on behalf of the North Fork Environmental Council as the president. There's a movie I'd recommend with Tim Roth and Liam Neeson in an 18th century setting, Rob Roy. Tim Roth chooses a light sword, not a lightsaber, a light sword to go up against the much larger man with a broadsword. A broadsword wasn't necessarily heavy, but when it connected with your neck or your head, it would immediately shatter bones into pulp, or if it connected with your upper arm, there'd be nothing humorous about it. So the broadsword misses Tim Roth's head, and he lunges in with the light sword, flick, 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 and it isn't long before the larger opponent is covered in blood and bleeding profusely and suffers what we call a death by 1,000 cuts. Another example, one cigarette butt on the beach is the same, with these things being the single most littered item in the United States, releasing benzene, arsenic, and the same polyaromatic hydrocarbons that are in diesel exhaust into our drinking water. Some 120 billion every year, so death by 1 billion butts, as it were. We're tonight faced with some 14 million square feet of warehousing and e-commerce distribution centers. Nobody seems to know, or nobody is telling us exactly how many diesel-burning trucks are going to be required for these operations. So let's just assume for the moment that 3,000 trucks a day will be added to our local roads, flicking at our already frazzled nerves. That's some 90,000 truck trips every month, which is 1 million truck trips every year, pouring out not just carbon dioxide, but the waste of burned heavy diesel fuel, which is nitrous oxide, sulfur dioxide, small soot particles, which cross the membrane of our lungs into our bloodstream, and asbestos from brake dust, all into the air which we are required to breathe, about which we have no choice. 240,000 cars leave Long Island every day for their single passengers to go to work, and 10 hours later, those same 240,000 cars return home every weekday. 250 days a year for the last 50 years. The cumulative effects of this pollution has caused the DEC to stop testing our air quality in Suffolk County 3 times a day and only bothers once a day because we're never below the safe threshold. Suffolk County is known for having the worst air quality in New York State. Asthma in our children, COPD in our elderly and not so elderly anymore, and stage 4 lung cancer is appearing in Long Islanders who never smoked cigarettes in their lives. Death by a million trucks. We have an option before us. A moratorium is the most sensible one. Like listening to a song playing on a music player, we can simply hit the pause button. We can pick up where we left off if we choose, or we might realize that it's not fitting our mood once it's stopped. Declaring a pause on some 14 million square feet of development is not admitting defeat in any way. It's just a way of thinking about the cumulative impacts these projects are going to have on our population, on our people. To take the time to consider how every decision we make impacts the shared vision of our community, stretching out not just for the next 20 years, but the next 100, because these buildings may still be standing by then. Asking ourselves and our businesses if we're going to do the bare minimum as it affects our people, or if we're going to go the extra mile, making our health and welfare the more important consideration. Can we build into our comprehensive plan the concepts of creating businesses which support us not just financially, but socially and environmentally as well? Can we find architects and designers and builders who build not just for the least they can do, in the cheapest, fastest ways possible, but to award ourselves buildings which create more energy than they consume? Can we incentivize people to do their best with everyone in mind? These are not simple decisions, but they're common sense choices, which will only present themselves to us if we create them. Let us pause, let us think together, because that's how a democracy works best. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Mark, your perspective is not lost, your message is not lost, but I want to say how much I admire your writing.
If nothing else.
It's always good to have a little poetry at a town board meeting. Oh, it was good. It was very good. Look, you send messages through poems, right? That's what it's about. Yeah. That's what a poem is. So you got your message across. Hi, how you doing?
Hi, John Cullen over in Northville. As I've mentioned to this town board, I'm 100% against the EPCAL deal and still hope that it will be broken and redone. After the recent news of it's going to be an airport, it's not going to be an airport the following day, I've dealt with the FAA and East Hampton Airport for the last 10 years. Once the FAA gets their feet in there, like they say, you give them an inch, they're going to kick the damn door down. And that's what you need to be aware of. If the FAA gets in there, Calverton's going to be up all night, because those cargo planes come in late at night and they leave early in the morning. And that's what I just have to say about that. I thought there would be a bigger room in here today. I know there's a little sporting event going on. I hope nobody tells me the score as I have it on home. TVR.
Boston won.
Okay, and thank you, Tim. You're a true. Can't say it, but you know where I stand on. You know where I stand on EPCAL. And I just want to read the statement that I wrote. And like I said, I wish there was a bigger room in here. But back in October 18th, 2015, that would be 3,553 days ago, just 2 days short of 7 years. A public community development agency held by the town of Riverhead, right in this very room with Daniel Preston and his dream team, which was quite a presentation. I would think there are about 2 people in this room that were there that night. Our town clerk, myself, Bob Kern. I'm one short. It was an amazing display that he put on that night. I left that room that night and I couldn't believe what was coming to Riverhead with what Miss Daniel Preston and his dream team was. And just for example, you had Anthony Claus, who developed the guidance and flight control systems for his guided parafoils. You had Barnaby Wayfern, who worked on current services with the U.S. military on many designs. One of the ones, test flights, won the Experimental Aircraft Association. You had Stephen Miller. My expertise, which I bring to Illuminati and Calverton, is composite parts, composite building and composite fabrics. And the list went on. You had Robert Lutz. I'm the chief test pilot. So that's my function amongst anything that goes up in the air. I'm the guy that goes up. You also had a guy, I forget his name, who developed the Patriot missile. That is one of the meanest war machines that we have as far as missiles go. And things went on for, as I said, you have Robert Lutz. Within a month, the Dream Team presentation had fallen apart. Tonight, and Daniel Preston was in deep trouble. United Riverhead Terminal Oil CEO John Casamigos came on board to help Mr. Preston, but again, within 2 weeks, he completely dropped out. I don't think any of the board members were there. I'm sorry, but Mr. Kern, you were there, but this is obviously previous boards that may not have even seen the videotape of this presentation. It was incredible. Then came the Germazian family, more big meetings, and another dream team, which I attended both meetings on February 27th, 2018, and March 19th, 2018. Again, they brought a bunch of high-class guys. Max Rose, Director and Engineer of Technology for Composite Prototyping Center. Steve Rogers has more than 3 decades of aerospace composite fields. He has worked a number of companies, including Boeing, Lockheed, and Hitech, and the list went on. Another great presentation. But when I sat there and listened to that presentation, I thought of Mr. Preston's first presentation. And I guess my question is, are any of these guys online with the Germazians as 555 gets closer and closer? Or have they disappeared?
The IDA, which is an independent body, has the application. There'll be a public hearing, and that whole process. If you want to try to get a question answered, go to the IDA. Right now, they're processing the applications, they're reviewing them, they're doing a financial, and then there's going to be a public hearing, and that's when you should come to the IDA meeting when it takes place and share all your thoughts. And we'll be there and we'll have our thoughts also.
And I'm going to share one last thought because it was a great one. And this is by a line by Craig Dahlgren, who speaks very well when he's up in front of the board. I've seen him speak in front of a couple of different boards in my times, as I've been coming here for over 10 years on Tuesday nights. And Craig said, so 555 came here earlier tonight. They said that they want to do a project for the people of Calverton, not to make money. We want to do it for the people of Calverton. Or somebody in the audience started laughing. And Mr. Dahlgren said, exactly. Let's face it. You're here to make money. You're not here doing this out of the goodness of your heart. I'm sorry. I am from Calverton, and I can say this. I don't need your help, and I don't want your help. And I agree with Mr. Dahlgren.
Okay, and your 5 minutes is up. Good timing. Thank you. Anybody online? Okay, yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name's Danielle Kilfoyle. I live on Middle Road in Calverton.
Yes.
And I'm coming here today to also request a moratorium on industrial development. I've been to the planning board meetings, I've written in my concerns, but I'm coming to you as well because, I mean, as you know, each one of these industrial development applications comes with a tremendous amount of information, a tremendous amount of work. I'm new to the whole process, but it's pretty overwhelming. And I don't understand how our planning department can possibly analyze all of this information from all of these applications at once. So if anything, the moratorium may give us a chance to just regroup and process this information. I just don't think it's realistic to expect, of no fault of their own, it's just a tremendous amount of information that's all very important. And each one of these developments will affect our quality of life adversely. So the moratorium, it wouldn't be permanent, but all of the decisions made on these applications will be. And they do have the potential to permanently change our town, take natural resources, permanently alter community character, and degrade the quality of life. So I just think until our comprehensive plan is updated, I would request that a moratorium on industrial development be considered. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Chip, we don't have anyone? All right, hearing no one. Oh, yes, oh, sir. Did you want to make a word? Well, how's it going with drag racing?
I just want to say, Peter Scalzo, on behalf of myself, my wife Marie, the folks from Long Island Needs a Drag Strip, and our #1 fan who was here tonight, Grace Swift, we thank you all very much for having the faith to allow us to continue providing our wholesome family entertainment that we do at the drag strip. Thank you all very
And the
much.
race has been going well? A couple of little scratches, or a couple of little bangs around that happened? And no one's been injured?
Oh, no,
No
no
one's been
injuries.
injured?
Our final event is coming up this Saturday.
This Saturday? Yep.
Saturday. And again, thank
No
you so
injuries,
much.
And that's because we're following an NHRA
And
guidelines.
HRA sanction, yes.
So thank you for doing that.
And thank you again for allowing us to continue.
All right, and thank you for coming here to thanking the board. All right, do we have one more? Hi.
Hi, good evening, Talkby Church and Greater Calverton Civic Association. It's been a long night. Thanks for your attention on each of the subjects. You've heard tonight from residents on describing the need for a proper moratorium for industrial warehouse projects in Calverton until our comprehensive plan restart is completed. So very short and sweet. I'm here tonight to again request a timely, thoughtful, reasonable moratorium to be effectuated. Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, thank you, everyone. This concludes our meeting for this evening. Can I have a first and a second to close the town board meeting?
So moved. Second.
Great. Stay safe, all in favor, all opposed? So moved. Stay safe, everyone, and have a great evening.
Did you say don't move? No.